Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Disney Dining Show. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Mr. Charles Boda.
Hello.
Mr. Steve Porter.
Hello.
And also back in the production nook and on the controls, our associate producer, Mr. Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
So in this week's show, we're going to talk about the new Edison restaurant that just opened at Disney Springs recently. Highly anticipated. We've all been looking forward to it. And, you know, I was very excited to go and check this out. And, well, before we get into it, here's a little package we put together, just kind of give you an idea of the restaurant. So Steve, what did you get?
I got the deviled eggs, which are, I'm not sure the price because we don't have the menu, but they're absolutely delicious. Both olives. You get 4 of them. There's this like crispy like topping on top that I'm not even sure what it is. Well, I think it's actually it's a potato. It looks like some sort of
it is a
potato chip type of thing. And it gives it a texture that I've never had on deviled eggs before. It's really, really good because you know, you have that creamy that you have from a normal deviled egg, but then you have the texture of a little bit of the potato chip that kind of breaks it up a little bit, and I really like that. I kind of wish I had more, so I think these are delicious, and I would get them again.
I got the Hawker's box of balls, which are just like ground lamb balls. Very good. I mean, they're mild. They taste like lamb. The sauce that they use, it's not overly spicy, but there's a good amount of flavor in the lamb. I wouldn't say that I love them, but if you're a lamb enthusiast, usually their lamb is not offered as an appetizer, so I like that they offer it here. And everybody's appetizer so far, I've really dug. So even with the smaller lunch menu, everything seems to be pretty good.
I got the Ahi Poke. I like pineapple all by itself. I don't like it mixed in things. I don't like it on pizza. And this is definitely a very different poke because I think instead of using any avocado whatsoever, they've used only pineapple. And so, not something I would get again.
Charles, your thoughts on the lamb burger?
Yeah, that is really good. It's not nearly as dry as I thought it was going to be. It's still probably not as rare as I generally eat it, but there's like a little pink in there. The flavor is awesome. And it's pretty hefty.
The burger itself is actually delicious, but the bun is like dripping and super soggy from all the grease. So I don't really like that, but the flavor is actually great. It almost has some sort of a kick to it. And I like they have like the little fried onions in there. That's pretty good. But yeah, the soggy bun is kind of counteracting the good flavor. So I don't know. We'll see.
They use thin buns too, but the fries are good.
Yeah, those look like hamburger buns you buy at the supermarket. Those are not suitable for the size and scope of the burgers that they're serving.
I can't hold on to this. The pickle and the tomato just fell out. It's
almost like
flopping.
Who thought that was a good idea with that bun? I'm not kidding. It's like they went to Publix and they just grabbed a bag of enriched, Entenmann's hamburger buns off the shelf and threw them on here. They're the worst possible bun to use on a burger like that.
Well, even on this one, I'll be honest, this is not, the flavor's good, but there's a lot of like a tzatziki-like sauce because everybody who does lamb puts a tzatziki-like sauce in there because it works well. But, so the flavor is really good. The only problem with it is if you eat it, looks like if you get any of the burgers here, you're gonna have messy hands. You've got to be prepared for just making a mess. I don't have stuff
unnecessarily.
Yeah, I don't have stuff falling out of mine like Steve does. But the second I touched it, like he said, like
You can't set it down again.
What's that?
You can't set it down.
Yeah,
It's
I'm now bonded to this, and every fry that I eat is going to taste like this. So it's lucky that it's flavorful, because probably my next 6 meals are going to taste slightly like this.
doesn't wash his hands.
I do not.
So yeah, I got the grilled cheese and tomato soup, and it's good. It's good. Am I like rolling around? No. We went around and did the appetizers. Our main course came before I did mine. I got the candied bacon, absolutely out of this world. So, and so far, food is good.
So I got a menu back so I could remember what my drink was called, the Blinker, which was Knob Creek Rye, grapefruit, lemon, and raspberry. It's good. It's a really intense grapefruit flavor. So I'm somebody that I usually like. I don't like grapefruit in real life unless it's in a drink or flavored of something. And this is clearly like very natural grapefruit, so it's a little too sour for my palate. But for my sandwich,
Spoken like a real man.
I got the medianoche, which is their version of a Cuban. So it's pork, ham, Swiss, pickle, yellow mustard on a toasted bread, and it looks good. It looks all fancy. I don't know. I feel like mine, after listening to everybody else talk about theirs, mine might be the winner here. My only complaint is there's like a cheddar maybe on this, or did I say Swiss?
If it's a Cuban, it should be Swiss.
Yeah, and I'm not a giant Swiss cheese fan, but it's
neither
very
am I.
flavorful. So the cheese, you can really taste that there. However, it's not ruining the sandwich for me. So I'm actually going to ask for a little bit more mustard because I'm not getting a lot of the mustard. But
Would you like some tzatziki?
please wipe your hands on my food.
Is that the toffee one?
I think so. Nobody knows.
I wanted some of the actual shake
Aren't
in
you
there.
somebody who doesn't like sweets?
I am, but if I'm going to go all the way.
To drink this one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Say hello, Coma.
I did get some of the black cherry shake in that. And if you get below the top layer, the shake itself is really good.
Steak is amazing. It's all sugar,
Oh, awesome.
but it's really good. It's disgusting, but it's really good.
Oh, wow.
These lollipop things are really good, but this is definitely shareable because I've had two and I'm like, ugh, like it's too. They're really, really sweet, like Charles was saying. And if you had more than one, I just feel sick to my stomach. I thought that whatever this bubblegum,
It's bubblegum whipped
goodness is, bubblegum whipped cream is so good. I don't know how they make it.
That's the only thing that I can't
It's like they take the stickiness out of bubblegum and you can just eat it.
Bubblegum and pixie dust. It's like got the consistency of a whipped cream, but that's amazing.
good.
That is so good. This is now the second place at Disney Springs where I'm going to say to you, apps and desserts.
It's sweet, but that's really good. You get past all the crap on top.
I want to taste that key lime.
Just so you know, this isn't the grease trap that you think it is.
Yeah, this key lime comes in this.
It looks exactly like a grease trap.
This what is this called? I'm not thinking of the name.
Skillet.
And using that as the vessel to serve it, it kind of makes the key lime pie looks like it's just a big tub of lard. Let's see how it tastes. Oh wow!
Lard.
No. Phenomenal cheesecake. Taste that, Charles.
Try this key lime.
Phenomenal. Hard. Bold.
That is very good. And
Incredibly good.
once again, I don't know if like a single human being wants to eat that entire thing now that I see kind of how deep and how rich it
There's
is.
a crust on there, too.
Yeah.
I Amazing, right?
Delicious, yeah. Very tart, like you said, but also flavorful, bold. I think it gets a lot of points for consistency, too.
Yeah.
You go places and you get that cheesecake that's like too dense, too solid. This is definitely that, like, creamier, really good. Very tart. I don't think I could eat a whole one of these. These are all very shareable sizes, though.
It's chocolate, so it doesn't wow me like the rest, but it's well done.
It's also bittersweet chocolate.
I like chocolate a little bitter, but like everything else, it's pretty rich and it's pretty dense, but it's very good.
These are outstanding desserts. I enjoy the chocolate. I don't like bittersweet chocolate, so key lime, cheesecake pops, and this shake are out of this world. I mean, outstanding. Really, really well done. Creative, inventive, delicious, different. Not what you're going to find everywhere else. Even that key lime. It's not your common key lime pie. It's bold. It's flavorful. You get that tartness of the key lime. And really, as Rhino pointed out, major points for the consistency.
Well, my name's Rory. I work here as an inventor, and I gain inspiration from the Edison. Do you mind if I show you some of my inventions?
Sure.
Excellent. As I turn my gears, you'll see that my kinetic energy is creating electrical energy. So the faster I go, the brighter it gets.
Much like myself.
So now, this is also a magnet. I just want to show you. But take the plastic piece, put it back in there. Magnet, right? But now, as I turn this magnet around, there's a small metal point here. It's going to act as a pick point. We'll place that same magnet.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? It appears to levitate or float.
Very nice meeting you.
Nice to meet all of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appetizer was great. Entree was disappointing. Dessert was phenomenal, and then that just kind of topped it off. That was so. He was great. He was great. I really liked that.
Yeah, I thought that was like, I expected it to be annoying, and I was surprisingly charmed by it.
It was fun. I'm curious right now. This is like an empty restaurant. There's like maybe us and I don't know.
I was thinking the same thing.
30 or 40 other people in here, and I'm wondering if he comes around at dinner, if he has the time to show everyone. Like he showed us everything that he had in all of his compartments. I don't know if he can engage that much when the restaurant's packed, maybe at dinner. So if you do want to see that whole routine, probably lunch is better to come. I don't know that for a fact. Maybe we're just here on a slow day, but I don't know. I could imagine that dinner would be a little trickier to get that engagement.
The highlights were very high, and the lowlights were just it. Okay, with that out of the way, let's kind of go into a little bit of this. Starting with the theming of the restaurant is phenomenal.
Incredible.
They did an incredible job. The space really gives you this feel of that whole steampunk.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. Both floors, you can honestly just do a circuit and walk around, and in every little nook and corner, you're gonna find something that's kind of cool or like weird to look at, whether it's art or just the lighting that they use is all very, very like industrial, steampunky, and everything like that. There's always something to look at, just like right around wherever you are.
When I did the media event, they told us that the owner, the guy that created the original Edison out in California, now this one, they said he is a junkie in collecting unique and eclectic antiques. And so all the really unique things in this restaurant are actually things that he's found around the country. So they were saying it's one of the big difference between a lot of the Disney restaurants, which will have cool and unique things, but a lot of those are actually created by Imagineers or, reproductions. These are the real thing, which is kind of a cool part of this restaurant.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they had I think up the top floor they had like old teletype machines and stuff, which I honestly thought that they recreated for this. I didn't realize most of those things were antiques. Knowing that actually makes me appreciate it quite a bit more.
Yeah, from a theme standpoint, it's wonderful. Now, for those of you who remember the Adventurers Club, this restaurant is located in the same spot that the Adventurers Club used to be, and they did borrow the, they did keep the the building design pretty much the same, where you have that upper floor and then you would go downstairs and there would be, an area downstairs. So this is an upstairs, downstairs sort of thing. We were seated downstairs. Again, just you're really impressed when you walk in. You're kind of like looking around. And then it came to the food. And we'll start with our appetizers. Steve got the deviled eggs, which had like a crisp potato thing on top. That was $12. I got the clothesline candied bacon, which was $13. And Charles did the Hawker's box of balls.
The box of balls.
Lamb meatballs, mint, what is that? Harissa? I don't know what that is.
It's a type of like a Mediterranean spice.
Okay, and strained yogurt, and that was $14. And I will tell you, Steve was totally grossed out by the clothesline bacon for some reason.
It was weird.
It was delicious. It was absolutely amazing how good this was. And whatever that jelly was, if that was the maple black pepper, it was in that jelly. It was crazy good.
Yeah. The bacon was phenomenal, and I think the only reason Steve doesn't like it is like he has a different philosophical view on how bacon should be cooked.
I don't like thick cut bacon.
Weird.
If I can chew the bacon, like if it bounces back in my teeth, I don't like it.
Yeah,
I like
he
when
likes
it crumbles in my mouth.
Disney's paper bacon.
No.
Paper burnt bacon.
I just like extremely crispy, like bacon or breakfast bacon. Like that was more of a candied, like I don't know.
And I also forgot Rhino was there too.
Yeah,
Rhino got the Ahi Tuna Poke.
Yeah, I think that was $16.
That was $16. Pickled red onion, cilantro, pineapple, toasted peanuts, and fried wontons. And what did you think of yours, Rhino?
I thought
No?
well, I guess I should have read the description. That I'm not sure. Are you reading from a picture of the menu, or is
Yeah.
that from the website? Okay, I should have read the menu description then a little bit closer, because I probably wouldn't have ordered it if it had pineapple in it. I love pineapple all by itself. I love it. I do not like fruit and like meats mixed together, or I like to keep my fruits and vegetables separate too. And I'm used to the poke that's out in like Turkish Sam's at like Disneyland, with like you get the big chunk of like avocado and guacamole that kind of gets mixed in with it or whatever. So this threw me when it came. The fish in it was excellent, but it just didn't mix well. Charles, you ate it too, and I think you kind of agreed it was a weird
it's
collection.
like the pineapple took away from the tuna aspect of it. I don't think it was bad, but it took me forever to figure out whether I really liked it or really didn't like it. So it just became a blank spot in my brain.
Yeah.
And Steve, you tried the deviled eggs. What'd you think of them?
They were my favorite thing of this entire restaurant besides the theming. I thought I love the potato crisp on top. I thought that really made them like have a different texture with the deviled eggs that I really liked, and I would definitely get them again.
And Charles, how are your balls?
My balls were delicious. Well, actually, I just wanted to say that though. My balls didn't live up to the hype. No, they were good. They're lamb. So if you're a lamb fan and stuff, like they're all right. I kind of just liked that lamb was an option as far as appetizers are concerned.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of lamb.
Yeah.
I didn't like them.
So I liked them. They were good. They weren't phenomenal though. And as far as compared to the bacon or the deviled eggs, which were really phenomenal, they were outstanding. I'd say like, if you want some lamb for an appetizer, this is definitely a decent choice. But it wasn't one of the mind-blowing options that I saw on there.
Now, when it comes to entrees, you kind of have two choices. You can go with entree salads. They have the Greek, which is cucumber, tomato, feta cheese, olives, red onions, and peppers. That was $16. Chopstick chicken, which was Napa cabbage, greens, Granny Smith apple. How's it pronounced? Jicama.
Jicama, yeah. Weird
Spicy
word.
cashews and a sesame ginger dressing, $19. Gem lettuce wedges, crispy onions, tomato, bacon lardon, whatever that is. I could go a lot of places with that, but I won't. Blue cheese, with blue cheese, and that's $15. And the Tesla shrimp cob, baby lettuce. It does say baby lettuces. Bacon, hard cooked egg, tomato, avocado, and fried bread, $20. Did you?
I had the one of those salads when I went for a test meal with my friend.
Okay.
And this blue cheese was also present when I went and did the vlog. It was on the Electra fries. Their blue cheese, if you're someone who's like, it's okay, blue cheese is okay. This is the most intense blue chease I've ever had. I don't like blue cheese.
See, I love
hate it.
blue cheese,
Oh.
and I love intense blue cheese.
Oh, then
so.
I would have told you to try that salad, that wedge. I think it was the wedge, whatever the second to last one you read was. But I was just like, who? Like I can't do it.
So beyond salads, salad entrees, and also with those salads, you can add chicken for $5 or shrimp for $7.
Woo.
Beyond that, they have their burgers and bites. And this was the lunch menu. The dinner menu is a little more extensive, but for on this part of the menu, the Edison Burger, this is their signature dish. It's a signature beef blend of sirloin, short rib, and brisket, Cabot cloth bound cheddar, onion rings, smoked bacon, house-made pickles, lettuce, tomato, special sauce with fries, $19. That is what Steve got. I got the organic tomato soup and gooey grilled cheese, Fontina, Munster, Gruyere, Alpine Swiss cheese on buttered sourdough. That was $16. Which one did you get?
I got the lamb burger.
The lamb burger.
I kept it going with the lamb.
Grass-fed lamb burger, creamy goat cheese, cucumber slaw, tzatziki sauce with fries, $18. And Rhino, what did you get?
I got the
Impossible Burger?
the medianoche.
The
Cuban,
medianoche,
yeah.
right. The classic Cuban, pork, ham, Swiss pickle, yellow mustard on toasted bread for $19. All right, so I'm going to talk about my grilled cheese and tomato soup. The tomato soup was awful. It was simply not good. It was way too acidic, and it just didn't taste right. The grilled cheese was average. That's the best I could say about it. It was average. It was a little on the greasy side. There was nothing about it that I'm like, wow, that's really good. So it wasn't terrible. I ate it, ate half of it, brought the other half home, ate the other half later. Wasn't any better the next day. So, meh. Charles, your thoughts on the lamb burger?
It was very good. Once again, whenever you get like a lamb burger or pretty much lamb anything, there's a tendency by everybody to throw tzatziki in it because tzatziki works with lamb. And it did, and it works great. So I kind of wish they would do something different with it. The burger itself was really good, but they kind of pour on the sauce. So one of the problems is it's not a problem if you're ready for it, I guess, but when you go to eat this thing, you are getting covered head to toe in various sauces that are expunged from it.
What a word.
Thank you. And they'll, this might be an ongoing trend with some of the other ones, but the bread choice is a little odd, and the bun choice is a little odd. They could have done something different there to make it a little more
Let's be
eatable.
clear. The bun choice wasn't odd. The bun choice was what they saw on the shelf at Publix and picked up, because that's what these buns were on these burgers. You have these massive burgers with all this sauce and all this other stuff, and then they have a common, regular, enriched white hamburger bun that is fine if you're doing a normal hamburger with normal things on it. When you put all this other stuff on it, this bun becomes useless. It begins to dissolve, as you saw in the video. It begins to dissolve. It's not, and this was the issue with yours. You were disgusted by it.
Yeah, mine became so messy that it just became the meat was the only thing left, and then I felt like I was eating just like a meatloaf, and it was, I don't know, the messiness of the bun really threw the whole thing out, because the first couple of bites I had, I was like, this is pretty good. But between the grease and the burger going into the bottom bun, it was so sloppy, like you saw in the video, that I could barely eat the thing, even though I really did like those first couple bites. So I think if they do get better buns, it would totally change the experience completely. But it was also one of those burgers where it just had so much, like Pete was saying, there was so much stuff in it. Even with a big bun, it kind of gets, I think they need to maybe trim down on how many pieces of tomato and how many pieces of lettuce. Obviously, that's just maybe the person that put together my particular burger, but That was just the experience I had.
So and Rhino, talk about your dish, your medianoche.
Again, I should have read the menu because it had Swiss
Because reading
cheese in
is
it.
fundamental. Rhino.
I just don't know. So I got that. I don't know why I just didn't get the vegetarian option that I normally get, but it had Swiss cheese in it, and it was, again, like really strong Swiss cheese, and I do not like Swiss cheese, so it kind of threw me a little. But other than that, I don't really have a complaint about it. It was fine. If you like Swiss cheese and you like Cubans, it was okay. Could have used more of the mustard on it, I felt like, because as far as Cuban goes, it was very... I wasn't even sure there was mustard in it, because I gave Charles a bite, and we had to like pull it apart to double check. And, they come... it came with like really thick cut fries, whereas the week before when I was there, we didn't get any entrees. We just got the 2 apps. The electric fries were really thin cut fries, and the waitress server, excuse me, who I had both times, she told me they had just changed the fries again. So this is clearly like a menu that is like still constantly in flux all the time.
And
so you can tell, I feel like.
I don't mind Cubans. I'm not a huge fan, but I took a bite of yours
Yeah.
and spit it out.
Yeah.
It tasted awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. It just was like, if I had ordered that, I would have sent it back.
I gagged.
Yeah, Steve did gag. I think one of the problems with the Cuban was, once again, the bread choice, because it's Cubans are standard. It was pretty much pork, ham, pickle, whatever goes on it. I also don't think that they put enough mustard on it. But the way it was grilled, the interior bread kind of became mushy with the crispy outside, and that combined with the ingredients to where you bit into it, and it was just this bleh.
It was like a meat gusher.
Yeah.
Wow.
Using a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, and that's because the choices made on these dishes were weird.
Yeah.
And especially where breads are concerned. So, as has been the case with a couple of experiences we've had lately, especially at Disney Springs, appetizers were excellent. Entrees, not so much. But let's move on to desserts. Because this is where this place shines. Absolutely shines. We did the black cherry cream, vanilla gelato, sour cherries, gummy poppers topped with pixie sticks, rainbow pop, whipped cream, and Nerds, the candy, Nerds, $16. This comes in a big
Mason
jar.
Yeah.
And there were 4 of us at the table, so there were 4 of these big pixie sticks, basically straws. And it looked disgusting, but was it good? And we were all like going back. We had to make sure we were keeping track of whose straw was whose, because we were all hitting this mason jar and hitting it hard. It was really, and then hold on, the lollipop tree. That's what had the bubblegum whipped cream. The lollipop tree. These were cheesecake pops with a bubblegum whipped cream for $18, and there were.
I think there were 3 of each one, and there were 3. So there was
9.
maybe
There were
like
9
9 or
of them.
10. Yeah.
Nine or so of these cheesecake pops that were by themselves out of this world. I mean, delicious. But I don't want to oversell this.
You guys
but
really
it's
like
quite
this.
possible the greatest invention since fire was bubblegum whipped cream.
It was so good.
Was a whipped cream that tasted like, wait for it, bubblegum. And it's like I'm eating it and I'm like, okay, this defies the laws of nature. This can't taste this good. But it tasted just like bubblegum, but it was whipped cream. And my brain was blown.
That was the only part I didn't like.
Really?
Everything else, bubblegum, not a thing. Not a thing that I want involved in any of my other things.
This explains so much.
Yeah, I hate fun. And bubblegum is a little too...
It's too fun.
Yeah, a little too fun for me. However, I did combine the cheesecake pops with the black cherry shake thing, and that was just off the rails phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was going to be too heavy on that on the black cherry thing. Looking at it, it looks like an explosion. But your first sip down there, it's got like just a really good, deep black cherry flavor. That's awesome.
And it's and then the server explained to us that they actually, I mean, they use real black cherries. They puree them. They make everything from real black cherries. This isn't flavoring. This isn't.
Oh, okay.
Really good. The other items we got were the key lime pie, which was $10, and the bittersweet chocolate mile high cake, which was $12. Now, when the key lime pie came out, we were all like, "Quoi?" It was in a skillet, and I'm like, "Okay." So, as you see from the picture we're putting up now, there's a skillet with a key lime pie. It looked like lard. Okay, because that when I see a substance, a hardened, semi-gelatinous substance inside a skillet, it's normally lard. And if this was lard, I want more lard because this was possibly the best key lime pie I've ever tasted.
Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding from consistency and flavor. It was phenomenal. I just don't get. Once I took a bite of the cheesecake of the key lime pie, I didn't care what it was in. They could have brought it to me in a toilet bowl, and it would have been fine.
Toilet cheesecake.
It's hilarious because if you didn't tell anybody what that was and you handed them that and been like, "Here, eat what's in this skillet," I'll pay you $5. They would refuse just straight off the bat. But once you actually like get over that and bite into it, it's delicious.
I think I liked everything that we had dessert-wise, and I think if you're going into this and planning like what you're going to have, it's important to note that you can totally share the black cherry cream and you can totally share the lollipop tree, and I feel like the other two things are a single person dessert. I mean, you can share the cake or the key lime if you're generous, but that is more of a single serving than the other ones were.
I'm going to jump in here too. Since we didn't really talk about it, the chocolate cake that Charles ordered is not. This is one of my issues with the restaurant too. Is that I've had the same server twice, like I said, and my complaint before, and it stands still, is she didn't know questions I asked her. She didn't know the answer to, and they're like, "Well, the restaurant just opened," and I'm like, "Fair enough, but aren't you trained to know all this stuff?"
I'm going to give because the restaurant is brand new. I always give some leeway. Now, if we go back in 6 months, and that's still the case, that's a different story. But
the chocolate cake doesn't come out the way it's described in the menu. It says it has raspberry coulis on it. There's no raspberry on it because she told us they just changed it like a day ago. And the same with the key lime pie. That was brand new that day. And so a lot of this stuff is still changing. I had heard something happen to the executive chef right before they were about to open. And so this menu is just all over the place right now.
Well,
I don't know.
I will. Well, just before we get into that part of it, I'll just say that I'm not a huge fan of bittersweet chocolate. This was very, very good cake.
Yeah.
This was a really, really good cake. I don't think anybody was disappointed with any of the desserts.
I had the original one, which was terrible. So this one was excellent all by itself. So if you had this one before, give it another try.
Well, and now kind of moving past all of that. My impression walking away is this is a restaurant that doesn't know what it wants to be. It's kind of all over the place in terms of the menu. First of all, it's a very limited menu for lunch. And I think that they either need to go tapas style or they need to expand. They need to give a few more offerings. Like I said, the dinner menu is a bit more, has a bit more on it. But this lunch menu seemed very, very limited. I'm also concerned that, there's been no shortage of hype around this restaurant. There's been no shortage of discussion about this restaurant. People have known it was opening. Plenty of people know it is open. It's at Disney Springs, and this place was virtually empty when we were there on a Thursday afternoon. So I don't know what's going on with that either. But it felt very disjointed. The experience of the theming, coupled with the menu,
the music.
The music, yeah. Okay, so music we're supposed to be in like, I guess, the 20s or the 30s.
It's the whole thing they want is steampunk, turn of the century industrial. So think about like early 1900s, late 1800s.
So
that kind of thing.
some of the music, wasn't too offensive in terms of being from the 20s and the 30s, even some from the 40s. Then all of a sudden we're in the 60s, and I'm like, what is that? I'm hearing Burt Bacharach. Okay, now I don't know about you, but the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Burt Bacharach isn't steampunk. So and it was jarring enough that I actually noticed it.
Yeah.
That it didn't make sense. You've got silent films running on the wall. I mean, old silent films running on the wall, and then you have music from the 60s playing. So it's like it doesn't know what it wants to be when it grows up. I think all the elements are there for a phenomenal, different experience. I think if this went tapas, kind of focused on and maybe built up these desserts, given the club type atmosphere, the some of the signature cocktails that they offer, this is a great adults place. But I will say this. Now, after 10 o'clock at night, it is adults. It's 18 and over, correct?
21.
21 and over. So, that might be putting some people off that it's not good for kids. I will tell you that just from the standpoint of these desserts, any child is going to lose their mind. That black cherry cream, forget about it. Forget about it. That lollipop tree. But honestly, one of the things I was kind of ready to give this place a 4 or a 5 at the end of this review. And then Rory comes up, right? It was Rory?
Yeah, Rory.
Rory, the inventor, right? This is their streetmosphere, basically. Their streetmosphere character. And he comes to the table and he does all these, they're not magic tricks. They're all these, little scientific experiments. This guy, perfectly in character. He was the perfect guy to play this role. And at first, because honestly, I eye roll. I'm very jaded. I eye roll. I'm like, oh God, here we go. This guy was engaging. He was funny. It was enjoyable. And he spent, and we're recording, and the neighbor is doing the lawn again. This woman never cuts a lawn, okay? Believe me, Walter once said, you will never have the worst lawn on the street as long as she is living next door. But only when we're recording does she decide to cut her lawn. Okay, now completely lost my train of thought.
Okay, Rory. I generally don't like those things, and I thought it was going to be like kind of annoying, honestly. Like give him a chance or anything. But I was very charmed. I thought he did a great job.
He spent a lot of time with us too, with every table. But again, there weren't a lot in there, so we were wondering when it's really busy.
Is he going to be able to do all of those tricks?
Able to do all of that.
He did a good job of maintaining the balance, especially with adults at the table and not young children, of maintaining that balance of being in character but not being cartoonish and over the top where it's annoying. He kind of just played in the role but was just informative about these little gadgets that he had.
He was absolutely phenomenal, and actually that experience gave a couple points to this restaurant in my book. That I thought that really fits with the theme. And I think as long as they keep playing to the theme and adjust those things, and I'm glad to hear that they are making adjustments to this menu, because it's something that they're going to have to do. But overall, scale of 1 to 10, Rhino, what do you give the Edison?
Based on the combined experience of the one I had the week before and then the one with you guys, I would roll it into be about an 8. Because the experience I had before was a 10, and this one was kind of on the other side of that, the opposite side of that. So I'd say an 8.
Charles?
I was thinking about maybe 7.5, 8 range. Yeah.
Steve?
Right after the experience, I thought in my head about an 8, but I think after some time's gone by, I would maybe lower it to maybe closer to 7.5 or maybe even a 7. but with lots of potential to improve, because I think this place has the bones and this, the theming and everything to be a much, much better place once they make those menu adjustments, if they do.
And I'm giving. I was, like I said, at the end of dinner, I was a 5. It was a 5. This was not going to be a good review. Then desserts came. Oh, okay. And then Rory came. 7.5.
Yeah.
And I agree with Steve. I think the bones are there to make this a great restaurant. I think it's got all the potential in the world. I think what is wrong with the Edison right now is easily corrected. And it does seem they were very anxious for feedback. They were very anxious for feedback, which is a really good sign that they want to hear what you're saying. They want to make this right. So, again, early opening on this restaurant. It's only been open a little over a week, I think.
Yeah.
Am I correct on that, Rhino?
I
2 weeks?
think it opened New Year's Eve. So yeah,
Well, wasn't that a soft opening?
Yeah, and then the official one. So yeah, I'd say 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
So, it's still in its infancy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You can.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like with the things the restaurants that have opened in Disney Springs in the past year, a lot of them that have had chefs tied to the restaurants, I feel like from the get-go, their menus have been pretty set and pretty well liked, like Art Smith's and Morimoto and Skip Bayless, or not Skip, Rick Bayless.
Rick Bayless.
I feel like from the get-go, those menus were
I was going to say Peter Baelish, but
well liked from the get-go, and I feel like this place just needed someone like that maybe to get the menu together right from the get-go.
Well, and I think it's also important to mention that when Rhino said something happened with the chef, I think there was a personal,
I think so.
family issue that took him away. He wasn't like thrown out or fired or anything. So, there was that kind of last-minute adjustment there. And like I said, they've put a lot into this. And, right now, if you're going in the next week, apps and desserts. Apps and desserts right now. They need to really work on those entrees for lunch. I can't speak to dinner. We didn't do dinner. But for lunch, apps and desserts is what I would go with. But there you have it. That is our review of the Edison at Disney Springs, and that will do it for this episode of the Disney Dining Show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week.